All right, y'all. GMOGMedia TV. You already know what it is. So, I wanted to talk to you about an interesting article I came across on. Damn, this camera kind of zoomed in on me real quick. All right, so I'm just trying to get used to this new camera, and this is my garage, so I'm gonna record in different places in my house, and when you have children. One of my kids who plays Fortnite 24/7, he uses my office all the time, my oldest son. So I can't record, and if I can't record, I use my camera, which I just got. But anyway, I want to talk about this article I came across on Twitter. Interesting article, because this really sheds light on people who call themselves pro-black, especially people who not only call themselves pro-black, right? But claim they have a lot of money, and this is not, and this is regarding to those kind of people, right? But it says in the article that was posted by Donovan Reynolds on Twitter, says a joint study by Howard University and Morehouse College found that 83% of married black men who earn at least $100,000 a year are married to black women. And he says, can you guys stop spreading narratives that you believe to be true without any actual research? Facts. So a couple things I want to say about that is I fall in that category. Okay. I'm a guy that makes over $100,000 a year. I'm married to a black woman. And here's the other thing, right? That the people who, like I said, claim they are pro-black, right? They married outside their race, but they claim they got all this money. Or they got all this money, but they're not married, right? Those guys who are preaching about you got to marry a black woman and you got to have black children and this, that, and the third. And they're not married. Never been married. So it's one of those two guys, right? The people who have never been married, always talking about, marry a black woman, all this stuff. Or the guys who marry non-black women, right? Just walking contradictions. And another thing they pointed out in this article is that they said to be considered rich, there's a poll on this too, I didn't know about this. To be considered rich, most Americans say you need an annual income of about $100,000 a year or more. All right, well, I guess I'm poor rich. Whatever the case may be. But, the whole point of what I wanted to shed light on this topic is the fact that the guys, especially these so-called militant leaders, these pro-black leaders, these guys who go around doing speaking engagements and stuff like that, right? And claim you got to marry black and this, that, and the third, and they're complete walking contradictions because they don't practice what they preach. And I've talked about this before in older videos where guys just don't practice what they preach, period. Those are the snake oil salesmen. Those are the used car salesmen that you guys want to avoid. You know what I'm saying? You guys definitely have to, focus on what they do, not what they say. Focus on a person's actions, not what they say verbally. It's just that simple. Focus on what they do and not what they say. Right? And that's the whole goal of that. My thing is, I've always been a guy that has valued the black family, valued the black family structure. I've always talked about the black family structure has been on life support since the 1960s, right? Check the Patrick D. Moynihan report, all right? And that perfectly illustrates why that's happening. Single parent households, right? The lack of a father, lack of a two-parent household, this, that, and the third, living in impoverished conditions, epigenetics, lack of jobs, lack of education, lack of resources. You know, those kind of things benefit. I mean, not benefit, but those kind of things are a detriment to a black child growing up in that environment, because those are more obstacles they have to overcome versus somebody who lives in a affluent community or has the support system of a family that has generational wealth, aka the Jewish family, to go out to support their children. You know, because the black family is like the black church. You know, you have a whole bunch of black families, just like you have a whole bunch of black churches, one across the street from another, but they're not affiliated with one another. They don't have a system in place. Everything is fragmented. Unlike the Jewish community, they have a system in place. They buy, like my community, they buy houses in groups and they live next door to each other. If one of them have some problems, guess what? You can stay at my house as long as you want until you get back on your feet. All their kids go to the same school. They don't go to regular schools. They go to their own Jewish school. They shop at their own grocery stores, kosher foods. All right? They have their own everything, ambulance, everything. They're a protected group. We are not. We're fragmented. We've always been that way. We don't have a support system. We have ideologies that we don't agree upon. We have always been disjointed, and we never had a code. Forget what they say about you not on code. We never had a code. Like I said before, and I quote myself, the only code that we follow, black people, is the Coon Code. We never had a code to follow at all. So all this stuff about, oh, you got to stay on code, brother, there was never no code. Because the code that you really supposed to follow is the compensatory logic that most people don't even know about. Millie Fuller. All right? So, you know, that's the thing about it, man. You know, the thing about the black family structure and how it's so vital to help get rid of white supremacy and oppression, systemic oppression. And if that was in place, right? If the black family was in place as it should be, where we eliminate over 72%, now it's 75% of black children are being born out of wedlock. If we can eliminate that completely, we would not even need a case for ADOS. We would not even need a case for calling ourselves foundational black Americans or calling ourselves descendants of slaves. We wouldn't need that, because the black family is the most powerful force, in my opinion, to eradicate systemic oppression. Bottom line. So, you know, I just wanted to share my thoughts on that. This interesting article, family. I'll leave the link to the Twitter link in the description so you can check it out yourself. All right, family. So anyway, if you're new, please subscribe. GMOGMediaTV. You already know what it is. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at GMOGMediaTV. Till next time, signing out. Peace.